You gotta push the button really hard when you jump.
Yeah, when the SP came out, I thought it was like the perfect Game Boy because you have a backlit screen. Well, and I guess that first model was a front-lit screen, but you had a lit screen. It also had a rechargeable battery because as a kid, it was always like, A, I need to position myself where I can actually see what's happening, and B, I need batteries to play my Game Boy, and that solved both of those problems. So I'm like, well, this is perfect. Not to mention the fact that the SP could play all my old Game Boy games, Game Boy Color up through the GBA, so it's an excellent piece of hardware.
The Game Gear was a fun system, and I really enjoyed it, but one thing you cannot praise it for is its battery life. It had probably the worst battery life of anything I have ever owned.
I'm going to try, I didn't order it because I didn't think it would be a problem, but I'm going to try to get the Game Gear adapter for the Analog Pocket because I've been trying to collect Game Gear games lately because they're very cheap, and the library is something that I've never really explored, so I don't have any kind of, not a whole lot of nostalgia for it. I remember you having one and playing Power Rangers on it, and that's about it. I don't have any kind of association with it, so I'm eager to try to look up, like, even the most desirable Game Gear games are only like $20 or $30, like nobody really cares about it, so it's an easy system to collect for on the cheap. But the GBA is got an excellent library, and I'm glad that it still gets attention. Like, those SPs still go for a reasonable amount of money. I have a flash cart for mine so that I can basically run whatever game I want. I definitely want to get that adapter for the Analog Pocket so I can play Game Gear games on it. The operating system, dude, I don't know if you saw anything about it. They made a big announcement out of it, which felt kind of unnecessary. But they are trying to push, because, you know, I know you're a bigger fan of an emulation console because of the features you can get through it between translation patches and save states, right? In the new operating system that they updated for the Analog Pocket, I don't know if they explicitly said cheating is in it, but I feel like they probably did because it's going to have save states. Like, they are using, I think they're using that second FPGA chip in the hardware to do a lot of things that emulation can do. So not only do you have like a lot of the features that come with emulation, but you get that authenticity that FPGA can allow. So it's like the best of both worlds if they can pull it off. We still don't have the hardware in hand, so that doesn't really mean anything until it actually can be used.
Yeah, Polymega keeps releasing updates and patches and expanding their library, and they're doing some really great stuff. I can't wait to actually show it as soon as it comes out, though.
I would be down. I wish that it was cheaper, and I'm hoping that it's a success, and I'm hoping that they make enough money to put out a budgeted version, because I don't really care about the modules. I just would like to have an emulation-based, CD-based system, because I think it would be cool to be able to mess around with PS1 games and Sega CD games. I have a couple of them. I don't have any Sega CD hardware, but I think it would be pretty cool to play like my PS1 games with it and just try them out and try different things like translation patches. I could buy like a Japanese copy of Symphony of the Night and patch it if I wanted to. Like, that could be pretty fun.
See, I don't even know how the modules work, because I know, like, with the CD, for instance, you basically kind of download a ROM of the game to play, and it kind of stores it so you don't have to keep putting the disc in, and that's nice. But I don't know if the modules act the same way. Like, once I put in Super Mario Brothers, does it just remember that I own Super Mario Brothers?
I think so, yeah. I think you can copy your ROMs over.
Because if it can do that, that will save me so much headache, because I won't have to keep everything out. You know, if all my classic plastic, I can literally scan once and then I'll just put it away. That's a lot of shelf space I can save.
Yeah. It's a great piece of hardware. I know that whenever they announced it, they wanted it to also be FPGA, but I think that was just going to prove to be too expensive and probably technologically impossible at this point, because they haven't done FPGA for PlayStation yet. I know that they can do. I know they can definitely do Turbo, because Analog is releasing a product to do Turbo, and I know that they can likely do Neo Geo and like Sega CD. It's sort of like the disc-based systems. FPGA for original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all that stuff exists, but I don't know if anybody's pulled off original PlayStation yet, so I can understand why they would want to do it. Not to mention the fact that the hardware would be much cheaper, even though it's not a cheap system now. Like, it is, what, $400? It's kind of ridiculous.
I will say the Gremlin animation is probably the most laughable in this entire game because like they're just so stiff and their little wings move, and it is the laziest animation cycle ever.
Meh. They're kind of jerks. They irritate me a lot because I'll forget at what angle they
they throw it at 45.
It's kind of a 45-degree angle, yeah. And I'll be all like, oh, I avoided that one, and then like, oh wait, there's another one just right out of frame who's like lined up perfectly. This game is bad for that too. I don't know how many times I have like made a running jump, bounced off a wall, made another jump, and then only to get hit by a projectile to knock me back. I'm like, how did he know I was going to land at that exact time? It's like it was designed that way.
But it's funny too, because it's not like the enemies can, aim the direction they're shooting. They're firing in a straight line. It really is 100% coincidence, but it sure feels deliberate.
It feels like deliberate, because it happens so many times in this game. It'll be like, all right, I think it's a timing thing. Because it'll be like, I walk into this room, I make a running jump, I bounce off a wall, blah, 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 bam, and it hits me every time. I'll do it 3 times in a row. And be like, what in the world?
It's just with the amount of time it takes you to run and jump is the exact amount of time it takes him to get off a shot.
Right. I feel like it's on purpose. I feel like the game is trolling me.
This is a good place to just grind for a little bit in the early levels.
It's a good spot for it, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's too weak.
But yeah, I'm excited about the Analog Pocket. I'll probably play through... it depends. I've never actually finished Harmony of Dissonance, so if I enjoy like finishing that game, I may play through the second time on the Analog Pocket when it comes in. If not, I may play through Aria of Sorrow on it. I think that would probably be fun.
As far as
you don't have the double jump yet.
Hold on, let's see if I can make it. Nope.
Nope. do the James Rolfe.
You gotta push the button really hard when you jump. No, it doesn't help.
That's kid logic. That's it. Or move the controller. Come on.
Get up! Get up! Yeah, if you use real motion in real life, that helps the character, right?
That's how it works, right?
It's like when you catch Pokemon, if you hold down the button, and it increases the chance of them staying in the Pokeball.
Dude, I still do the press left and press A.
Whatever.
I know it does nothing, but it gives me something to do. I'm like, come on, come on.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
Speaking of which, I started a new file on my my clone. I have a clone console. I started a new file for Leaf Green because I constantly start new files for Leaf Green but never finish them.
Well, I would be down for doing another Pokemon play. Like, I started that Violet one, but I barely touched it, so I'd be up for doing another Pokemon play. I love Pokemon. I'm confused. That's the boss room. There should be a save point closer to me.
Usually there's one nearby.
Maybe it's up and around?
I think Diamond and Pearl come out sometime very soon.
So that'll be exciting, because I love playing Pokemon. Pokemon's a lot of fun.
Google says November 19th, so we got like a month. Well, not necessarily that soon, but if you wanted to try to play through one of the older ones, we totally could in that time.
Yeah, I love Pokemon, and actually we could even do a side-by-side like we did with Link to the Past, because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Make it like a little competition.
I was trying to hack my 3DS the other night so that I could play ROMs on it, because I kind of wanted to try, not necessarily Diamond and Pearl, but one of the DS-era Pokemon games on hardware that was, appropriate. But hacking the 3DS is such a pain.
Sure.
I got like a few steps in, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. Plus, I wanted to do it for Dragon Quest. Next time we do Dragon Quest 5 and 6, I wanted to try to do it with ROMs.
Alright, back up to the boss room. I have a little more health. Hopefully I can actually survive the boss. See how it goes.
There you go. That's something we could do. Instead of Pokemon, we could play Dragon Quest 5. But we'd have to do that, like, if we wanted to stream it, it'd have to be the Super Famicom version.
Wait, let me see. Do I have any equipment I can put on? Not clothes.
You got some. You can put on one wristband on each arm.
And I have.
That's a little helpful.
Great.
And turn on your DSS item, so your attack should be a little bit boosted. There you go. There you go. That's a little better.
Some stupid
I
charge.
usually jump up, and because he's gonna zap. He's like, "Hey, quit hitting me in the ass."
Nope.
Oh no!
Not
Look
that.
at the beams.
Lol. Good luck, idiot.
There are some excellent boss fights in
Ow.
Harmony. They're easy. The boss fights are really easy in that game, but I like the one of them is the giant eyeball thing. Like first you fight like one normal enemy, and then a giant one comes out. And he's like, "Hey, quit picking on my brother!"
Yeah,
And then you attack the big one, and he breaks up into a bunch of little ones. I thought that was
it
great.
definitely has a Minish Cap feel to it, where you're fighting a lot of just regular enemies, but they're big now. There's like a slime.
That's another game. Yeah, the Chew. Is it a Chew?
I don't know. There's a slime that you fight that's just like, it's just a giant slime and it breaks up into smaller slimes.
I definitely will play through that game again when the Analog Pocket comes in, because that game's kind of beautiful.
Ah, gosh.
I'm excited to try it out. Whoa! You got
Yeah, I
zapped.
think it's usually a one-hit kill, too. It's very, very powerful.
It's another game that I don't know why in the hell it's not on the Switch yet.
He's got to be close to death. He's being a jerk.
It's like, hey, quit hitting me with those knives. I do not like it.
Ah, nope.
It's too early for you to have a mana prism. Oh. Dum-dum-dum, Nien.
Well, that was a quick little glance at it, though. But again, this Castlevania game I actually enjoyed quite a bit. It does have a bit of a reputation at being a Castlevania game that's not particularly well liked, especially of the advanced games. But I highly recommend checking it out if you have any interest in Castlevania and you like the old school sprite style. It's a lot of fun. It's not nearly as polished as something as like Symphony of the Night, but that's a completely different game there.
It's a different developer. Well, I mean, it's the same publisher, but it's a different development team. So this is trying to emulate Symphony of the Night. And honestly, having gotten almost all the way through it, it does pretty well. It's just that it is a slog. When you go into it, you have to know, I'm going to grind. It's a grind-heavy game. It's like an old-school RPG that way. And as long as you're okay with that, it's perfectly good.
So guys, thanks for checking it out with us. Hope you have a good one. See you next time.
Bye!